Crystal City, right up the street. If you've been there before, you know it's a really, really nice facility. We liked it, so we'll be back there. Just keep up with our schedule, so you guys will know where we'll be. So I thank you all for coming out once again. Restrooms are right upstairs beyond the door, and I will now hand the floor over to Brandon Chin. One disclaimer, the views and opinions expressed by Brandon Chin are Brandon Chin's and only Brandon Chin's. Okay?
I do have a lot of opinions, it's true.
All right, you got the floor, Brandon.
Thank you. Like I said, my name is Brandon. I've been breaking into the cybersecurity industry for a couple years now. I didn't really start getting serious about it until my last year of college, which I highly don't recommend because I struggled a lot, and kind of why Tyrone asked me to do this way back when. This is like the 4th time I've given this presentation overall, and one of the reasons he asked me to do this is because my experiences can definitely help all of you kind of navigate this complicated field. So hopefully telling you my story will give you the inspiration and knowledge that you need to kind of forge your own path in this industry. So like I said, this is my story. These are all pictures of me. I used to be cute. And so I actually started using computers when I was really young. Probably when I was about 5, I got my hands on my first computer, and I immediately started playing video games. I've been a gamer my whole life. When I went to summer camp when I was younger, I would always just mess around with computers instead, and I learned to build my first computer when I was about 10 or so, about 5th grade. So computers for me have always been really important to me, and even though I did all that, I didn't really know I wanted to be in, I didn't know I wanted to have a career in it until a few years ago. So when I first started out, when I first left high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I feel like no one really knows what they want to do when they first leave high school. So I thought I wanted to be a video game designer because I loved playing video games. Then I took C++, and I was like, nope, not for me. I'm not a programmer. I cannot look at endless lines of code all day and figure out what's wrong. I hated it so much. But you know, after that, I started thinking about like microbiology, things like that, because I love science and playing with microscopes and all that. Then I took like organic chemistry, and I was like, nope, that's not gonna work either. I couldn't do that, so I was back to the drawing board. For me, I couldn't do it. I'm not as sciencey as I thought I was, apparently. But after that, I was really struggling to figure out what it was that I was gonna make money off of. And you know, I watched a lot of TV at the time, so I saw commercials for like UMUC and their cybersecurity program. I was like, oh, I've always loved the idea of being like a hacker. You know, when The Matrix first came out, that was when I thought, hey, being a hacker is really cool. And even back then, when I realized that I had been hacking already because I had gotten my sister's video game account password and was playing on her account for a while because she wouldn't let me. So I've been hacking for a while, and so I felt it came naturally to me. So I went to their open house at UMUC. I learned everything I could about the program. I saw that there were courses I wanted to take, and that seemed interesting to me. And you know, obviously, there was the draw of the money, and so of course I took the program. And when I was done, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I felt it was immensely helpful in just learning what it was I did want to do in this field and what I didn't want to do in this field. So at UMUC, I took their cybersecurity program, the bachelor's program, and I found that it was very policy-based, and I'm much more of a technical side person, so I didn't really find all the policy classes interesting or particularly helpful. But I found that what I did gain out of it is I became more well-rounded in cybersecurity overall because I had some knowledge of policy to draw on, and I had more technical like electives that I took. I took like ethical hacking classes and digital forensics and you know, things like of that nature. So I feel like no matter what path you take in school, it will ultimately benefit you as long as you take the right electives, because I feel like what electives are for when you're in college are taking classes that are interesting to you and seeing if you want to explore that more. So I felt like that really helped me. After I left school, I figured that, I have a degree, things will be easy now, right? Because everyone loves college degrees, and, I figured, hey, I have my degree, it's a very lucrative field, people love to see cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is so hot right now. I figured a job would fall right in my lap, because that's what things do after college, right? Exactly. I was so stupid. So in November of 2014, I realized that I was about to graduate in the next semester, and I had no idea what I was going to do after that. So I was like, oh, I should probably get an internship. So I went to a job fair that was hosted by my school. I applied for an internship at the Securities and Exchange Commission in DC, and I got it. So I was super excited about that. I was like, hey, internship, I'm going to learn so much. And if they like me, maybe they'll keep me, because it's government and they always hire people. And so I did my internship there. They didn't pay me. And I quit my long-time minimum wage job to do this. And it definitely opened my eyes. And if you ever have a chance to take an internship, I highly suggest that you do it, because what it taught me a lot about how things work in the real world, which I hadn't had a lot of exposure to. And I feel like a lot of people don't in college. They don't really teach you things like that. How to network with people, how to, how the business aspect affects everything, how that all works. So I felt like it was a really good experience for me to get that understanding. And it being government, I know my parents have been in government their whole lives, so I don't really have an opinion either or of government versus private sector. I feel like if you have an opportunity to get one or the other, just take it. I know other people have stronger opinions on government jobs versus private sector, but that's just my own personal opinions. What I was doing at the Securities and Exchange Commission had nothing to do with cybersecurity. But because they didn't pay me, they couldn't really tell me what to do all the time, so I had a lot of free time to wander around, and so I would take it upon myself to go down to their cybersecurity department and introduce myself to the guy running it and say, hey, this is what I'm in school for, this is what I want to do, is there anything you can teach me? And so they sort of did, and even then I went to, I found their digital forensics lab, because I had just finished taking my digital forensics class at UMUC, and I actually got my first chance to see an actual digital forensics lab, a real lab with all the cool stuff that they had there. And that was probably one of the coolest experiences that I had there, and it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't taken that initiative to seek it out myself, find out who ran that department, and just kind of go into his office and introduce myself. And that's another thing that this internship helped me learn was how to network. My first introduction to networking with other people was, ironically enough, when I first joined the Meetup site, and I found other groups that were pertaining to cybersecurity. This wasn't the first meetup I joined, unfortunately, but it was another meetup that was at a bar near me. So I was like, all right, I'll go there, I'll meet some people, find out how to do this, and it really helped being at a bar, because I could have a drink first to calm my nerves. And I suggest you only have one drink and no more than that, because any more than that, you're just gonna make a fool of yourself. But one drink really helped loosen me up, so then I was able to kind of go up to people and tell them who I was. And that's all networking really is. You go up to random people, this is who I am, what I do, they tell you who they are and what they do, and you exchange business cards, and hope maybe business opportunities happen, maybe they don't, but you put yourself out there. And that's something I had never really done on a professional level before. And so for me, I actually did not have business cards that day, so a lot of people were asking me, well, do you have a business card? And I'm like, no. So I felt really stupid at that point. But I took a lot of business cards, and after that, I definitely had some made. If you don't have business cards right now, go to like Vistaprint and get some printed up. They're super cheap, super easy to make, and you just give them out to everybody, and it doesn't seem like it helps a lot, and most of the time it won't, but all it takes is that one person to give you an opportunity, and it definitely helps. And there are a lot, for me personally, designing business cards was a lot of fun, because I'm not a graphical design person at all. And I mean, Tyrone asked me to give my opinion on some graphical design stuff when he first started doing the logo for the meetups, and he doesn't ask me anymore. So, so that's the extent of my graphical design knowledge. But you know, in the past 2 years actually, there have been so many like ups and downs of trying to figure out how to break into cyber, and so I just wanted to go over some of the high points. So last year, right after I got my internship, and I was on my last semester of school, after that first meetup group that I went to, I had met someone there that who had emailed me a couple weeks later. He said, "Hey, I know someone at UMUC looking to fill spots for this cyber competition." So I said, "Oh, okay." I had no idea what the competition was for. I didn't know what it would entail, but I said yes anyways. I said, "I don't care what it is, I want it." Because I knew that, I knew UMUC had a cyber competition team, but I had never considered joining it because I was taking a lot more classes than I should have at the time. You know, UMC is an online school, and they recommend you take like 2 classes per session. I was taking like 4 classes a session in 2 sessions during a semester, so I was taking like 6 to 8 classes per semester because I wanted